So I play quite a few characters. Harvey, who's one of the detention centre guards. I play Nazir, who's a detainee in the detention centre, and also Bar, who's sort of a mythical, spiritual, ethereal character who's the main character, Subi's dad, and also the character of Otto as a puppet. Those are the four characters I play. The challenges of multi-rolling, especially I think especially in this show because I have so many scenes which are so close together, and coming off stage and off one scene and then into the next very quickly as a completely different character. It's a challenge just getting your head into a completely different space, and in particular with the mask work that we're doing. So when we're playing puppets, it's not only a different character, it's a different world. So definitely we've done probably about 10 shows, and I'm still trying to get used to the speed at which I have to flick from one to the other, and that's really more of a kind of physical speed rather than a mental one. But I'm sure as the run goes on, it'll get snappier, and my brain will get more used to it. But quite often you can still be putting on your pants or your trousers and literally walking onto a scene just as you're getting changed. So yeah, it's just getting your head in the right space before you go onto a scene with all the quick changes. So in terms of portraying the characters differently, and how I went about doing that, to be honest, I didn't actually do a lot, and I usually don't do a lot. I don't overthink it. The instructions are there in the scripts, the way the characters are written, what they say, how other characters respond to them. It's the kind of blueprints there. So generally before a rehearsal period, I'll read the play and that's it. I won't do anything else, and the work happens and the skills are used just in the rehearsal room when you read with the other people in the scene, and whatever feels right, I just go with that. And generally I just go with what instinctively I think will work, and it does, and then I just tweak things that don't feel natural, or whatever does feel natural, just stick with that. And then just keeping it really simple, just picking one or two simple things to choose per character to differentiate them. So with Nazir, he's an older man, so it sounds a bit cliche, but just a bit of a bent back and a bit of a limp, and a croakier, hoarser voice, and that's it. With Harvey, he's a guard, so a bit of a straighter back and a wide stance and gait. Again, that's it. They all have different accents as well, so that helps differentiate them. So I don't really overthink it, and I try and do too much. Just keep it very simple. Yes, so with the mask work, I had never done masks before. So in terms of approaching it and how I was going to create a character, there was no kind of back work or strategy at all, because I'd never done it before. So it's literally just putting the mask on and giving it a go and seeing what would happen, which was really exciting. Now that I've done it, I'll never have that experience again of doing it for the first time, and next time I probably will have a way of doing it. But we had sessions and rehearsals where we all put them on and had a little play, and Alison, who we work with, who made all the puppets, gave us some exercises to do, and we watched each other with the puppets. We filmed what we were doing so we could watch ourselves back, and just by that, really getting a feel of how they worked and how they looked. And it was probably the most exciting thing I discovered about the show. I've never had done that skill set before, but learning how to just heighten the way your physical body reacts to convey an emotion when you have the mask on your face, and how well it can read. So yeah, just giving it a go and seeing how it worked really. When you put the masks on, they are physically very restrictive, so your line of sight shortens a lot, and your peripheral as well. So you see a lot less. So you're kind of using your sense of the space a lot more, and your other sensations, which is quite cool. And definitely when we went from the rehearsal room into the theatre, again, because we were in a well-lit rehearsal room, but in the theatre it was show lights, and it suddenly became a lot darker, and there were obstacles and bits of set and metal and steps everywhere. So it completely threw you again, because not only could you now not see a lot, but there were other obstacles you had to navigate. You just kind of get used to the space, really. Having been in it for a week now, you kind of know where the steps and the bumps are, so you can navigate them. I'm sure it will change every venue we go to, so that'll be a new challenge. But in terms of, we're not really, the scenes aren't really long enough for it to ever be uncomfortable. I can imagine if you were in it for a longer period of time, it might be. So you never kind of take them off and are completely sweaty and breathless or anything like that. But oddly, even though physically it's very restrictive, there's a weird sense that because your face is covered by something, you're not seen anymore by an audience, and it frees you to do something or do things that otherwise you wouldn't, because you have the sense that nobody can see me and no one can judge what I'm doing. And masks tend to have that quality when actors put them on. That's why they're used in drama schools. And definitely I found that with this mask. There was something very liberating about it, that it wasn't me as an actor acting now. I could just do whatever or be whatever, and feel whatever and emote whatever I wanted to, especially because you had to do it in a heightened sense, so you could really just go over the top with things and see what happened. Yeah, so one of a quite a kind of obvious tool to differentiate the characters is the way they speak and their accents. Again, something quite simple but very, very effective. With Harvey, he's obviously born and raised in Australia, so we had an accent coach come in and teach us how to speak in an Australian accent, basically. And it was just a case of repetition and repeating the sounds, recording how it's supposed to be said, and just listening back to it over and over again and practicing it again and again, and that was it, really. Similarly with Nazir, we had Nazir and Bar are both Rohingyan, so we had an accent coach who just gave us a few tips and hints about how to pepper the sound with Rohingyan sounds. And as a base, I just kind of used an Indian accent, which I have access to anyway, and I've used before. I think those were the two accents. Yeah. And then, obviously with Bar and Nazir, I differentiated them. I made Bar a little bit more. Nazir's a lovely character. He's described as a bit manic and a bit crazy in the script, so he's a bit quirky. So he has wide range with his voice, and he goes in different tones and octaves, whereas Bar was a bit more steady and a bit more just neutral, and I tried to make him a little bit more almost westernized to represent the fact that he's a poet and he's well read and well written and things like that. Yeah, but it's just choosing little tiny things like that, and with costumes and lights and everything, they all add up to add layers that look like you have three completely different characters.